Furina isn't perfect by any means, but in certain scenarios, it will feel like it. Everything related to Furina in this video is purely hypothetical and for discussion purposes only. Furina's hypothetical kit offers a unique playstyle. It seems she only benefits from Fontaine characters, or characters that offer mass healing or damage themselves. I've discussed how Furina is very bad in bait teams in her current state, and you wouldn't want to use her over the other Hydro characters, but that is far from true for other teams. You can see that video here, by the way. Furina offers a team-wide damage buff regardless of whether you scale with attack or HP percent. So, she is one of the only characters that can increase the damage of HP scaling characters. While the damage buff isn't that good in normal circumstances, if you happen to use a party-wide healer or have a character that can heal or damage themselves, then she is a great asset. When we put that into perspective, characters like Neuvillette, Hu Tao, and the upcoming cryo character Ryosley will greatly benefit from Furina. These characters are able to drain their HP and their teams are much less restrictive. Neuvillette is set to work perfectly with Furina, as he's able to drastically drain his HP and then heal it at the same time. The same can be said for Ryosley, but we'll have to see how much he heals when he's released. So, Freeze Ryosley may be a really powerful team. But that's not where her team synergy ends. With constant Hydro application over a long period of time, she enables Hyper Bloom, Burgeon, and Freeze teams. These teams will be her best. As for characters who work perfectly with her, Cyno comes to mind. He is on field for about 18 seconds, and even with his current Hyper Bloom teams, where he thrives, you end up only being able to aggravate for the last 5 seconds of his burst if you're using the Hida. With Furina, however, you will be able to do constant Hyper Blooms with almost no downtime. This is a major plus. Also, Cyno teams like to have Baiju, which will allow Furina's buff to be even more powerful. In addition, the issue with most Freeze teams is the Hydro application that is needed to be applied. There's always a little bit of downtime and the enemies will be moving temporarily. Also, Freeze doesn't have many ways to boost their damage. With Furina, this adds another way to make Freeze teams more powerful. You also get no downtime at all with Hydro application, so as long as there's a constant stream of Cryo on the field and Hydro, you'll be able to keep the enemies pretty much frozen almost forever. This is quite beneficial. In my previous video, I did note on the lack of synergy with Dia Vape teams, but Furina actually opens the door for Burgeon. One of my favorite archetypes for Dia actually. The issue with Burgeon teams with Dia is that you can almost never use her burst. Now, you'll be able to use her burst and keep proccing Burgeon. I'm still not sure if you'll eventually apply Burning instead of Burgeon when Dia is using your burst, but as of now, it is looking promising. We'll just have to wait and see exactly how Furina's Hydro application interacts with the Dendro. Hopefully, there's enough to stop it from burning. In addition to that, with Burgeon, you'll be able to get an even bigger buff from Furina because you will be losing HP with those seeds. With all of that in mind, I still think Furina is far from perfect, as the healing aspects of her kit is almost useless and locked behind her C2, and her Hydro application is questionable. But because of her Hydro application with no conditions, she can really help some teams and buff Hydro scaling characters. To make Furina truly perfect and on the same scale as Raiden and Nahida, I think that one of her summons should apply 2 units of Hydro and have a slightly larger AoE, and the smaller 2C critters can attack a tad bit faster. That would really bring her to the Archon level of power. Since you've made it to the end, you may as well like the video, yeah? It's a win-win for the both of us. Await more news about Furina in the upcoming weeks, and until then, Enigma out.